This week on Squats and Margaritas, it's TV personality and producer Kenya Duke. She is comedian Gary Owens' ex wife. You know him from Think Like a Man. For over a decade, Kenya managed his comedy career and produced his TV specials. They just went through a very high profile and public divorce. And she just launched her own podcast, Truly Kenya, where she shares her unfiltered, unapologetic life as a strong Black woman. She talks about creating personal wealth and stepping into your power. Cannot wait to have this conversation. Please do me a favor and hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this episode. And please consider leaving me a review for Squats and Margaritas on Apple Podcasts. Here is my episode with Kenya Duke. It is so nice to meet you. And I have to tell you what happened when your publicist pitched you to me. I didn't read the whole press release. And I'm just gonna be honest. And it was like Kenya Duke, Gary Owens. And I was like, oh, as soon as I read it, I was like, I know her because Gary, like he talks about you all the time. And he's like my favorite comedian. So I write back, absolutely would love to have her. Gary Owens is my favorite comedian because I just read the top and I don't know where the hell I've been. So I'm reading the rest and it was like high profile divorce. And I was like, God damn it. Kenya's probably going to be like, bitch, I don't want to talk to you. Don't say Gary's your favorite comedian. And then
I need you to be supportive. He has to pay a lot of fucking money. Be supportive. Buy merch. Go see movies. Go see a show. Be supportive. Hey.
Okay. I know. I listen to you on a lot of podcasts now. I know how you feel now. You're like, no, support Gary. Buy your tickets. My husband loves Mike Epps and he was with him in Richmond. Yes. So saw him live and he's always like so just complimentary of you. Like as soon as I heard your name, I was like, Gary Owens' wife. So I don't know where I've been.
Well, you'll have to read the divorce transcripts. Okay. I don't know where all that complimentary went, but okay.
So guess who else is about to have some divorce transcripts? And I haven't said anything to anyone, but I feel like the timing of this, I filed a month ago and I have been with my husband for 18 years and
that's us.
I know. And so I want to talk how you told your kids, even though they're older, things you would have done differently, things that you're like, if someone's going through it now, you definitely should have done it. Both of our kids are biracial. I want to talk to you about, I still have not really had the conversation with mine about their racial identity. And that's kind of the things that I want to hit with you. If it goes somewhere else, like I just want it conversational, but
total open book. So whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about.
It's just so strange. I've never talked about this because it's so new. I want to just kind of, when you've been with somebody for so long, if someone's listening to this, like it's not perfect, but you know, somebody's staying for the kids or somebody, whatever the reasons may be, when did it get to the point for you where you're like, this is not it and you filed?
He doesn't remember this, but it was very traumatic to me. So I remember, I have not ever been a person that knowingly has suffered from any level of depression. I just keep it moving. But it was around, it was sometime in 2020 and towards the end. And I guess I had really been in the bed a lot. He came in the room one day and he said, "What's wrong with you? Are you depressed? I think you're depressed." And I was like, "No, I'm not depressed. I've never had depression. You know, I've never had depression." And then he said, "No, I think you're depressed," and walked out the door. And when he left out of the bedroom door, I was like, wait, I sat up in bed. I was like, wait a minute. Am I depressed? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, am I? Yeah. And then I said, if I'm depressed, I am functionally depressed. Do you know what I mean? Right. Like I can still do what I need to do. But what this was the thing to me is if you thought I was depressed as your wife, as the mother of your children, as supposedly your closest friend, why would you just leave me like that? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you say, I think you're depressed, so you go see somebody, I'll get you to go see somebody, or get out of that bed so I can walk you around this block, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And when like he didn't have that level of concern about me, what am I still holding on for? You know what I mean? Like this dude does not give a shit about you, your mental health, or these kids.
Right.
Because if I am not healthy, they can't be healthy. And that's just how our whole house is set up, right?
Yeah, you're the glue.
Um, I am the glue. I know
Yeah.
everybody's schedule. I know his schedule. I know his doctor's day doctor, everybody, right?
Yeah.
So, but at the bare minimum, like not enough respect for me, just as the mother of his children, to want to make sure I am mentally healthy. I went to go talk to somebody, but that was the icing on the cake for me. However, there have been so many times earlier in the relationship that could have been reason to leave. And I was a girl that grew up. My father was killed when I was 6.
Yeah.
I wanted the kids to be with their dad.
Mhm.
And so overlook. I made a lot of excuses. I overlooked a lot of things that I would tell my daughter, oh, no, 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 no. It's time to go. You need to go. Um, and when a divorce first happened, I was like, only for a split second. I was like, why me? I try to be good to everyone. I
Mhm.
think I've been supportive, and I'm not perfect. I'm very close, but I am not perfect. And like, why me? And it was only for a split second. And then I thought, why not me? I would prefer it to be me than my daughters or my nieces or my cousins. Because just to be honest with you, I don't think that I've given her, my daughter, the tools. They grew up in suburbia, in a bubble. Everybody is married, appears to be married and happy. You know what I mean? They don't really
Yes.
see a lot of diversity.
Yes.
So, because you want better for your kids, right? You want
Mhm.
go outside, play, have fun, be safe. The packages are on the doorstep. They could be there for days. Nobody's gonna, you create this world. And what I realized is they had never really seen it. And so I don't even know if she would know what to do with it. Like now, because they've been up close and personal, they have more of a reference of what to do, what not to do, how to do it. Um, so there are many opportunities that I should have left, and financially, I don't know. I was comfortable, and I thought that I understood that some of his cheating, because I think when people have low self esteem, I've never said this out loud before, but I think when people have low self esteem, so he wasn't one of those guys that in school, in high school, in the military had tons of girls on him,
Mhm.
right? And you become famous, you become a dude with money. You got just, I don't know how frank I could be, but you got pussy all over, right?
I had a
Just
feeling
throwing
that's where
themselves
you were
at you.
going. Yes, okay.
Sorry, okay?
Yeah.
It's just around you. And if
Yeah.
all of a sudden you have access to that, I get the excitement of it. And I don't know. And I think when you have low self-esteem, you need that ego constantly, constantly to be stroked.
Yeah.
And I did it. I think I did it for a while until I felt I wasn't really appreciated. Then I'm like, fuck, let them do it. Do you know what I mean? Let them do it.
Yes, I know what you
You
mean.
know, you are making healthier decisions than I made. If I love the fact that you're not trying to stay just because you have kids. So wrong, so wrong, so wrong.
I would can you
So wrong.
expand on that? Like yeah.
I made a mistake staying too long. So if I had left earlier, they would have been used to seeing their father in a different space and not seeing the breakdown. If I would have left, I think that they would have a better relationship with their father because they wouldn't have had to see a lot of stuff that went on.
That's a good
And
point.
because I thought I was doing you a favor, you're in the house with your dad,
Yes.
but he treated you like shit. That's what we saw. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he didn't always talk nice to you. Do you know what I mean?
But you don't wanna break up the
He wasn't the
family.
most appreciative.
You don't wanna
No,
disrupt.
I wanted the unit. And I
Yes,
wasn't
the
thinking about
unit.
people's mental health. Yes,
Oh my gosh.
So like for my first son's father, we did break up when he was 2.5. And when he just came home, he said, where's my daddy? Like, why doesn't my daddy live with us anymore? And I just said, you know what? Mommy and daddy don't play well together. We just don't play well together anymore. So we both still love you and we will see each other. And I didn't get into it, meaning like as I'm giving you to him and you giving me back. I said, and we will still see each other. I said, but we're not gonna live together anymore. And he was just like, okay, and went back to Legos.
That's
But
yes, that's what happened with my kids. They were like,
yeah,
"Oh," and I'm like about to have an anxiety attack, like, I'm just gonna tell them, and they were so chill about it. I don't know if they fully have, like, grasped it because if this helps anyone else, I said, "I wanna be the best mommy that I can be, and daddy wants to be
yes,
the best daddy he can be, and when we're yelling at each other, that's not fair to you guys, so daddy's gonna go to his
right.
house, mommy's gonna be here, so you can have the best mommy and daddy." We went over there together, we showed them all their stuff, we had it all set up, and my son, who's 5, is like, "Thank you. You had this all set up, thank you." And, we were like, "What the hell?" Like, it went smoother than I could have even asked for, but it's only been like a
Yes,
couple weeks. And now I'm like,
yes,
I don't know, at one point they're gonna be like, "Hold on, you never come over there and he's not gonna be here anymore." And like I'm gonna have to keep repeating it, but
yes,
initially they're
yes,
cool. They're fine.
yes. And how is he doing? I'm sorry. Can I just
Uh,
ask, how's he doing as a father alone with the kids and all their needs and all of is he doing okay
He's
with it?
good. And I
With
will say
that?
he always was a great dad. No one else
Yes.
can understand. They're like, "You why would you break up? Like it's been this many years." He didn't talk to you like he talks to me. Like I have a
Right.
career now and I don't think he saw that coming, neither did I. And it's kind of
Yeah.
itchy. He's retired, but he doesn't, the mom picks him up. He's just stuck in the roles. And I
Right.
can't work with that. Can't.
Yeah. Yes. But I do think I listen, I think after COVID also, and this is during COVID when I realized, and you healthy people are passing away, you don't know what is going on. Like we are all new to
Exactly.
COVID. And I think after COVID, well, after meaning like around that 2021, I was like, fuck this. Do you know what I mean? I want to be
Yeah.
happy. Seriously. I'm a nice girl. Okay.
I know.
And why I still got these looks and these nice breasts, I want to get out there and be happy. All
I
right.
get it.
So I don't know I don't know how much longer it's going to be what it is.
I'm so
So
glad you said that
I
because that
don't
just made me think my other thing was like, this is a commitment. Like marriage is a thing. And at what point I was like making myself feel shame for not fighting. Like
Mhm.
if somebody is like, no, I'm married, like it's not just like dating, you made a commitment before God to make this work for better or worse. Like I had
Yes.
that kind of noise. Like, how did
Yeah.
you?
I think at some point, if your situation makes you so unhappy, you have to ignore the noise. Okay.
Mhm.
Because it's temporary. The heartbreak, the not wanting to get out of bed, the thinking you may never get over it or meet somebody or whatever, it's all temporary.
Mhm.
So the noise for me was what would it look like? Um and yeah, you're stupid. You left, you know what I mean? Whatever. And but when I was in the house, I wasn't happy. You know what I mean? It
Yes.
wasn't a fun place to be.
And you have a
So
daughter and you're modeling that.
yes, she is seeing mom or they picking up on something. Something is off.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I
Yes.
have a son in the house. Something is off. And I cannot put my finger on it, but it's off. And and I told my son, I was like, and I told both the kids. So we had planned when Kennedy came home from college, we were going to sit down and tell them together. That was our plan. But then it came out in TMZ and,
Yeah.
which
Right.
he still blames me for, right? Like I'm at the fucking courthouse saying, come read my story. And the truth of the matter is, I didn't realize anybody would care about his story. I mean, okay, yeah,
Well,
he's popular, but it's not
yeah,
fucking Matthew McConaughey. I
that's
mean,
true.
who cares about this stupid divorce, right? But and I still think he holds that. He thinks I had something to do with that and resents me for it.
How can I just
But
ask, how
I
would you
think
benefit from leaking it? How would that benefit you?
I don't.
Telling TMZ.
I think he said one of the things he said is all he was so afraid of all his dirt
Oh, yeah.
being public
Mhm.
and the amount of money he made. He was so afraid of all of that because you never really heard bad stories about him. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Oh, he
yeah.
loves his wife, he loves his kids. But the truth is, the dude, I don't know if he deserves a comedy award, but he definitely deserves a fucking Oscar for life, okay? For living life, pretending to be something he wasn't. I don't know. Like he definitely deserves an Oscar. Although he is real funny, and I still think he's funny.
Yes.
About the roles that he played in and out of this house.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You're gonna have to decide. Either you're gonna listen to the noise from a bunch of people that act like they care about you, but really do they care? Do they really care? About you day to day. Or you gonna be like, I want to be the best mommy. I want to be the best friend I can be. I want to be the best me I can be, and I
Yes.
can't do it here with
Oh my
you
God.
because the
Yes.
truth of the matter is, if I don't, the truth of the matter is, I don't feel like you give a shit about me. So it's going to be hard for me to stay committed to somebody I think that I've been loyal to, I've been very protective of. I've fought every fight for you. We didn't have shit, so now we got a lot. And I don't feel like I'm getting that same level of reciprocation
Mhm.
and just appreciation. You don't got to be grateful, but just appreciate the stuff I'm trying to do. Then
I
go. Let
I
them have it.
totally do. Yes. And I think both of us, we were talking about daughters. For me, some of the situations that were going down in my house that my daughter was around, if I
Yeah.
didn't leave and show her this is marriage or this is love or
Right.
this is how a
Right.
man treats, how can I not that every time I would like go back
That
and
would
forth, I was
become her normal.
it exactly. She will seek that out and someone gets in her face
Mhm,
and to be like, "Well,
mhm.
that's love, that's marriage, that's what I saw."
Right.
Every
Right.
time I went there, I was like, "Amaya, like it is for
Right.
Amaya to when she sees this and would I ever want this to happen to her, I am the female in her life and I'm
Right.
modeling what marriage is." That was it for me. It was her.
Right. And not only that, what you don't want it to become even all of the arguing and yelling. And I'm not an arguer or a yeller,
No.
but and I think that was kind of the surprise because we didn't really argue or yell. It was sarcastic and we would, maybe, but then 5 minutes later, we're like, hey, want to get something to eat? You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
are more joking and sarcastic, but it
Yes.
was still not good. And what I think is, especially for these girls, our daughters, anyone's daughters, what you don't want is dysfunction to become normal. Because
Yes.
if she finds herself in dysfunction, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, she's going to think that is normal instead of being like, hold up, I don't recognize this. Like, I don't
Yes.
know what's happening here, but this was not my experience. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And cut it
Yes.
off much better. Hmm.
Yes. Like hearing you now, like just how confident and like assured you are in your decision. You talk
Yeah,
about like when you go into your 40s, like stepping into purpose like later in life. I feel like I've done that. I
for
know you
sure.
speak on that.
Well, I will say this. This is what I am grateful of. I should have left years earlier than I did, but I didn't. But I do think everything that has happened to me has happened in the time it was supposed to happen. And that sounds crazy because
No.
one minute I'm saying, yeah, I should have left earlier. But if Gary is the one that told me you should do a podcast, I would not be doing
Yeah.
a podcast if
No.
it weren't for him. I
Yeah.
would not. You know what I mean? And everyone that when they were starting off like comics and stuff, um, everyone that he said, they're gonna make it. They got it. They got it.
They
They're
did.
huge stars right now,
Yeah. Okay.
you know? And so when he said, you would be good at a podcast, you should do a podcast. Once we were not together, I was like, I should fucking do a podcast. What have I
Yes.
got to lose? You can do it
Yes.
from home, a few $100s worth of equipment to get you started. I should do a podcast. And so I am like grateful for that. And I would say something that I hear even from my adult friends that are in interesting situations is that women do not need to be worried about if they're gonna find somebody else.
Okay.
Only thing you got to do, like when you're out and about, the grocery store, the amusement park, the beach, the pool, look around. You be seeing the ugliest people with attractive people. So I just want everybody to know there is somebody for everybody. I don't care what size you are. You think you're too skinny. You think you're too big. You think, your nose is too big. Whatever. The hair ain't right. Whatever. It is somebody for everybody. You better go out and live your best life. And if you do think you have body issues, I swear, if you have body issues, I don't care if you got a cesarean mark, I don't care if you got stretch marks, rolls, whatever. When you meet somebody and you decide we moving on, getting ready to have sex here, okay? You better, I don't care in your mind if you got an issue with some of the shit you got, you better get naked and get real confident, okay? I don't care. You deal when you by yourself, you get hi, but in that moment, you better be the most confident person in that room. And they don't care. I'm telling you, they
Yeah.
don't care. Okay.
How
That's
did
my
you
piece of
start dating?
advice.
Like, I've been with my husband for 18 years. We've been married for
Yes.
8. I haven't been on a date in 18 years. Like, how is that?
Okay. So let me just say, so for me, because everything was so public, they were in my DMs. Okay. I had other
Oh,
comics in my DMs, right? So it did make it easy for me. It did make it easier for me.
yeah. Like,
And then between my Facebook Messenger and Instagram, and maybe like just being at a party of a friend, that's how I meet people, like that way. Um, it's been great. I ain't got no complaints. All right. So once I
hey.
finally got ready, so I didn't have I've only really dated like one guy the whole time.
Hmm.
Um, and but I like to have fun. This is what I tell people about dates. When you go out on dates for women, we can't overthink it. Okay, we
Okay.
there just to have a good time for a short time. Okay, so we cannot be thinking about marriage. Are they gonna make a good? We ain't doing all that. We just want to
Okay.
have a good time. If you can come away from your date like maybe not a love interest, you got a friend. You got somebody you can call if you got to move a sofa. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just go in, have a good time, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Everybody
Okay.
ain't for everybody, and that is true. But I do think you cannot be outside in pajamas. Don't nobody want to see that. And we cannot be
How
outside
did you
with
know?
ah, because okay, and we got to move away occasionally from the leggings. Okay, leggings for me. Okay, all
Okay.
2020, I was in leggings. Okay,
Mhm. Yes.
but you just got to move away and just embrace your body, embrace this new chapter. Like I believe in God, so I always say, I am not gonna fuck up this chapter, this
Yeah.
opportunity, this second chance God has given me. So whoever you believe in, whatever, don't if you're gonna take that leap, you take the leap in confidence that it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be better. You're gonna be fine.
And
And
even fake it till you
you
make it if you don't feel confident.
that's
Be
right.
confident.
That's right. Right. And you can't meet somebody always at home. So if you like wine, I don't know, even markets have like wine hours. You gotta get out.
Okay.
You gotta get out, grab a girlfriend, and you only need one. You don't have to have a bunch of people. You only need one person that when you're going through your divorce and after divorce that you can really confide in, and that's gonna tell you the truth. Like, you're just kind of wrong. Yeah, you're wrong. Or you're right, or
Exactly.
girl, you're looking good today. You know what I mean? You looking good. You only need one person who will keep your secrets.
Oh my God. Such great advice. Last thing on divorce. Is there anything that you would have done differently or anything that you're like, I wish somebody would have told me about this for someone else that's going through it now or contemplating divorce?
I would say, I think we all have our own timeline. I think that we all have our own way of processing. So I don't think you need to compare your journey to someone else's.
Hmm.
You have to do what is right for you. I also think if you have children, you have to do right, but really. So even if you want to stay and you're so scared, and you got kids in the house, the shit is toxic. It's not working. You
Yeah.
you do on some level as a mother, this is not good, right? I just think you got to put your kids first.
Love
I
that.
do. I am telling you, it's going to be fine for you. I am telling you, it is going to work out. It took me, I don't know, 6 or 7 months to date, but I had never been by myself. I went through therapy first because
Love
I
that.
know I'm not perfect. And I know I didn't want to carry whatever baggage I had from being married for, I don't know, 17, 18 years with somebody for 25 years. I didn't
Yes.
want to take that into my next relationship. I wanted to be aware of things that I needed to work on.
Perfect.
So I believe in therapy. I totally believe in therapy. I believe in therapy for kids. If they all of a sudden start to act out and act different, Y'all may need family therapy. I think we, honestly, this was not my idea. My ex said that we need family therapy. I said, oh, yeah, you three need to go. He was like, no, all of us. I was like, oh, me and my first one, we okay. Okay, all of us. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm thinking, y'all got the problem, but whatever. He was like, no, all of us, which was a very healthy thing to say. But just be ready, take it slow, and don't be comparing yourself to other people's journeys. Like,
Yeah,
like me. Yeah, I can hindsight, maybe I should have left, but I wouldn't have the podcast. Do you know what I mean?
exactly.
And you don't need a bunch of people. You really only need a person. And if you ain't got nobody, you only got a therapist, and I don't know. You just need one person. And
I
it
love
gotta
that.
be sober. Okay. You cannot have the single girlfriend that's still out until 4 o'clock partying as the person. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You
I'm
just
gonna
can't.
fire
We
my
have somebody.
person. Okay.
Yes. Okay. We need a
Okay.
stable person because there are gonna be days we ain't stable. Okay. So
Yes. And
yes.
when you're talking about therapy, family therapy, I don't know if this will help someone else, but my kids go to play therapy now and this is very new. But this psychologist has taught me so much about what I could have
Mhm.
already been picking up on. She literally just plays with them and they're just
Yes.
playing out dolls and stuff. And she was
Yes.
just telling me, she's like, a 3-year-old was like, where's your mommy? We got to go find your mommy. We can't find mommy. And her mom, she had just been taken out of her mom's care. And she's like, they act out and play what they're feeling. So she's like, sometimes just let them play and pay attention and see what they're
Oh,
saying because that's
yeah.
how they kind of process it. And then she's there if she wants to be like, well, what's happening here? And then they can kind of get into it. It's a safe
Yes.
space. Like my kids know whatever they talk to Miss Shamitri about,
Yes.
she's not gonna talk to me. So
Yes.
and they love it and they're just playing but they kind of get in there and they know when to like kind of ask more or she'll have a book on the table but she'll let the kids find it and it'll be their idea. They're like, what's this? And she's like, oh, do you want to read this book? And it was like something she
Mhm.
exactly wanted to show them. It's been great and they trust her, but she's like, just pay attention when your kids are playing. She's like, listen, like they're kind of acting out
Mhm.
or is daddy never there, or is daddy being mean to mommy? Like they notice and you can kind of see it through play. And I want to talk about kids. First of all, we both have biracial children. When did you have
Yes.
the racial identity conversation? Did you wait till they came to you? Did you want to make sure that
No.
they were prepared? What? You did not.
No, but you gotta keep I think it is different. I didn't okay, so you being a white mother,
Yes,
your experience is kinda different. I'm Black. When I walk out
totally.
this door, I'm Black, right? So they don't have any choice but to be seen as Black.
I
With
see.
but I will say this, they do look mixed. Like my son Austin, if he's around a bunch of Indians, you would think he was Indian. You would think, he really can be a lot of stuff. Like sometimes I look at him and be like, huh, you know what I mean? Hmm. But in Kennedy, when I used to take her out, people would ask me, was I babysitting? Nobody thought I was her mother because she is very, very light. But they saw me having to be Black in the world, if that makes sense. Do you know
Yes.
what I mean? Like,
Yes, it's
I
different.
don't have any, yeah. So they identified early on with being Black, all of my family. So they did go to a predominantly white schools their whole life, but they always knew they were Black. And you got to keep in mind, although Gary is white, his audience, he really, I don't want to
Totally.
say catered to,
No,
but a urban audience, right?
totally.
So
Yeah.
their interactions, the people that were over our house were Black. You know what I mean? Our neighbors were white, but they didn't really have that. But I do think reading books
Okay.
on especially like hair. I don't know what kind of hair,
Curly.
books.
Curly, super
Yeah.
curly
So
hair.
books
Yeah.
about, yeah. I think that's okay. I think it's important if you have mixed kids. I think it's important to have both white and Black um babies and
Yes,
dolls
we do.
and because I have a white girlfriend who is like, okay, yeah, they Black because their dad's Black. But she said, I'm white. So when I don't want them saying they're Black. I want them to say they're mixed because she felt like it negated, who she is.
I
You
get
know what
it.
I mean? And I had never thought about that until she said it.
So with like Obama, it's like he's the first black president. It was like his white mother was just negated. Like she does not count. When we
For
go
sure.
to when you have to pick a box, I'm like, can I choose white and black? And it was a black woman. It's the nurse. She's like, they're black. And I was like, okay, it's weird for me as a white woman to say just black. My kids are black. So I
Yes.
am just
Yes.
not even, I'm like negated, but they said that that is the right answer. And if my daughter gets confronted on the playground and somebody said, "What are you?" She
Yes.
wouldn't even, she'd be like, "A girl?" Like she'd be
Right.
so ill-equipped to answer it. But Kenya, I'm so worried to put something on her that she's not even asking about to be like, you know what else? You're that like, I want to prepare her, but I don't want her to like, she hasn't even questioned it. We're in the South, we're around a
Right.
lot with my husband's
Oh, wow.
family. And every
Yes.
time she comes back, she's never like, why don't I look like them? Why don't I?
Right.
They've never questioned it. So I haven't said anything. And I don't want to like
I
not
just think
prepare them.
you say, you know what? You just say I'm mixed. My dad's African American, or I still say black, whatever.
Okay.
My dad's black, my mom's white. I'm mixed. Do you know what I mean?
Did
But
they
I
know
do
that
think on all that
early?
school paperwork,
Yes.
yes,
What do you
Kennedy
put?
said when they would draw pictures, I don't know if it took a minute to realize that dad was white. They always thought their dad was peach. So when you see a
My
picture
mom,
come home of dad, he was, and
she
I was like,
calls me
oh,
beige. She's like, "My mom is
oh,
beige."
okay. Yes, yes. So she used to say, no, he's not white, he's peach. He's peach. I was like, okay. You know what I mean? And I think the conversations happen at the level where they can take in the information. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So right now we'll just keep it real simple. Mixed. What are you? I'm mixed up, girl. Mixed.
Okay.
But on the school paperwork, keep marking black because there are benefits she may get from that. You know what I mean? Scholarships, and I'm not saying make it work for you, but make it work for you.
No, but
You know what
I
I
didn't
mean?
even
So
think somebody said too, like certain like sickle cell, like genetic traits. If I don't
yes.
put black, they won't even
Oh,
like
they won't
look.
know to check.
And I'm
Oh,
like,
that I never
that's
thought about that.
that stuck
Yes.
with me. I was like, okay, so both. Um,
Yes.
and I want to talk about your daughter because I know
Yes.
initially you didn't want a daughter. You were like, no, I'm a boy mom, and now she's your best friend. How did you get past 7? Because we're in it right now, Kenya, her and I.
So I okay, I never saw myself having a daughter, especially after 2 boys. I
Yeah,
was I was in it. I knew how to do it,
yeah.
whatever. And I actually said, "No, can you please check again?" Right? And then she came out, Austin came out ready to love, hey, I'm happy I'm here. This heifer came out crying for 3 hours straight. I was like, she doesn't like me. And then
Right.
she's never cried again. But I was like, oh, we off to a real bad start. And now I look at her and I love her so much that sometimes I just want to put her in my pocket and keep her. You know what I mean? She still gets on my nerves, but I love her a lot. Okay, but let me tell you this. We are teaching our children speak up because Kennedy has a voice. Okay, she's always had opinions and all that. I just didn't always want to hear them. Sometimes I just want to get through the day. I don't always want to hear your opinion. Okay, we're gonna go by what I think we need to be doing or whatever. But we do raise them. You're strong. You're fit. You know what I mean? More than pretty, right? We're using other
Oh,
adjectives. And
100%.
then I think sometimes when they get ready to exert, this is how I feel, or this is that. Da, 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 da. Like I said, I didn't always want to hear it. So sometimes I was like, not now. We're going to talk about how you feel later. But right now, we 10 minutes late. Okay. Let's just get out the house. Right. And I want to say for my kids, it was like you couldn't just talk any kind of way. Right. And, um, I think it's culturally, that black, you know what I mean? You ain't gonna be talking. Who you talking to? I'm
Yes.
gonna give you a second and come back because who you talking to, right?
Yes, and they don't
And
respect me, they respect my husband and Nana because Nana be like,
yes,
"Hold your hand out," and she, like, smacks her
yes,
hand or she'll be
you
like,
got. Let me tell you, you got to be consistent even when you don't want to. But my thing was this: we are all entitled to our opinions, right? So if I
"Okay,
say it is time for you to go clean that room, if you want to say nicely in a tone, do you think I can play 5 more minutes before I clean the room? Or
okay."
do I have to clean it right now? Or I don't think I should have to clean. You know what I mean? A lot of it is tone. So
Yes.
I used to say, you can say what you want to say. You just need to keep it respectful.
Okay.
So, and because you're teaching them, speak up for yourself. Da, 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 da. But
And then
then
you
we're
don't want them
saying,
to.
don't, don't. You're
Then
not to me. That's everybody else. You know what I mean?
right,
But you
'cause
have to be so consistent with them. And I think kids like boundaries. I really do. I do. And I was tested at 2. I was tested again at 5. And then maybe 7, 8, when people really started having sleepovers, I wasn't a sleepover mom. Like, let everybody come to my house because I
Yeah.
know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what Sally's, is she gonna have a brother over there? Is he a drinker?
Yes.
I don't know if daddy having all his friends. So it became a joke that, okay, when we invite Kennedy, let's try to do all the activities because her mama coming to get her at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I mean, she had one or two friends she was allowed to sleep over. I just like, I did sleepovers, okay?
Yeah.
I know, and I was like, that's just late enough. And at first, I was like, why? You're just the mean mom. Okay,
Yes.
I'll take that. But my job is to make sure that we are all protected, and we have to do that in a way I feel comfortable. And when you
Mhm.
grow up to have your kids, like my mama used to tell me, you do whatever you want. But right
Yeah.
now, I don't do sleepovers, period.
Yes.
I'm not comfortable with it. So,
My
yeah.
boundaries are lacking. I like try to be her friend because I don't want her to be mad at me because she's mean. And the things she
No.
says to me. So I'm always trying to like manage her like moods. And my
Yes.
husband would be like, girl, and he just starts to say a
Yes.
word and they respect him immediately. And I will try to
Yes.
talk so sternly. I spanked my
Yes.
son the other day and he
Yes.
laughed. My husband's like, pop him. I did. And he laughed. So it's just, they're like,
So
you
maybe, can I tell you? I don't know of spankings. Maybe if he has a game system, or you know what I mean. You got to find what
take
people
it.
care about.
That's a
You
great
know
tip.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes.
You gotta find what's important. Is he a reader? Then you're not gonna read. I mean, then you'd be like, damn, did I just really take a book? But whatever, you know what I mean? But and
Okay.
in terms of your daughter, the friendship, forget it. Because it's
Oh,
gonna come, right?
okay. Okay.
It's going to come. So don't worry about that. And when my daughter, she was so tired of me, but we went through when she gets in high school, because she want to do stuff. You can't just come in all times of the night because everybody else doing it. I don't care.
Yes.
I don't care what these people letting their kids do. We're not. We're gonna have life 360 so I can see where you are. And that's just
Boom.
what it's gonna be. And if you don't want life 360, then you won't be going nowhere. You won't have a car and you won't have a phone. You're gonna have life 360, which is this app. If she's in a car, I can see how fast they're driving. And I don't I just look at it for my own. I don't have it anymore. I just look at it for my own, once she started driving. You know what I
Oh.
mean? So I didn't really talk about it, but 20, you want 50 and 25, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just kind of, really tells you if they were texting, all kind of stuff this app tells you. But
Wow.
but even with them now, I still have Find My Friends. We have Find My Friends now,
Okay.
and especially with her, share her location. She's like 3,000 miles away,
Yeah.
and if it comes to a point where, at one point she's like, "This is silly. I don't want to share my location." Okay, then you don't have a phone. That's fine. You know what I mean? Like, choices. It's up to you. I'm not gonna beg you to spend money on you having a phone. If you don't want to have a phone, don't have a phone. But if you're gonna have a phone, you're gonna have Find My Friends. You are 3,000 miles away from me, and every now and then when I'm sitting in the car, I just want to see what she's doing. What I can see where she's at, if she made it back to her apartment. And what they have to understand is we're a team. Okay.
Okay.
I'm making sure you're happy and safe and comfortable. And in doing that, I have to make sure I'm comfortable too.
Okay.
And
Love
the
it.
world is what the world is.
So
I'm
many
telling you,
tangible tips.
you're gonna be friends. So don't worry about
Yeah. Just let that go.
it.
So
Yes.
many tips on so many things. Talk about Truly Kenya, your new podcast. Where can people find it and what can they expect?
Okay. I'm so happy. I love it. I'm having a great time. You can find it on YouTube, Truly Kenya podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Truly Kenya podcast. You can find us on all your favorite podcast platforms. We're there. I talk about sex, divorce, kids, dating. I'm an entrepreneurial at heart, so I love to talk to other entrepreneurs. I am really into real estate. I love real estate developers because I'm really starting over. You
Yeah.
know, um, Financially, I'm starting over, which I was not prepared for. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking he was going to give me the money to go get me a good lawyer so I could sue the shit out of him, right? No,
Doesn't
divorce
work
is
like
a
that.
business. You are getting no money. Figure it out, right?
Mhm.
So you better go get you legal aid or whatever, right? But I did get a great attorney. Very happy, very lucky, very, very blessed about that. The podcast. So the podcast is a lot of fun. It is very open. I'm an open book.
Mhm.
I have lots of different types of guests. And I'm having such a good time. And the interviews, listen, it's not a serious podcast. Um, I, I'm not always talking, I'm not referring to experts, okay, and doctors before I give my advice and my opinions. But I do know a lot of shit, okay? But I'm just
I that's
saying,
why I
if
like it. I listen to your show and I like how you just are real. You don't want to sometimes you want to hear like the doctor's like rehearsed answer. Like you're
right,
just real. I want to talk to you. I've never done a solo episode and you do those. I just
yeah,
how do you just think of topics? Like I couldn't
yeah,
imagine just doing a show without like the conversation. Like, can you coach me up on doing a
yes.
solo episode?
Let me tell you something. You're living. Life is lifing for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me tell you the easiest way. If you want to try your first, you should do ask me anything.
Oh yeah. And then just answer
You
the
know what I mean?
question.
And literally, they through your Instagram or however you want to be reached, they can ask you questions, and then you
Yes.
just kind of read them. It's so simple. And
Yes.
if you get a question that wasn't asked, but you kind of want to talk about, um, then just make it up. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to touch on something, just make it up.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna do
like if
that.
nobody asked what's it like for your daughter, once you announce your divorce, or what's it like dealing with a 7-year-old, nobody asked you that, and you kind of think you may want to talk a little bit about it. Just
Yes.
it was one of your questions.
Mark from Dallas asked what my daughter thinks about.
Exactly.
That's such a good tip. Thank you. Kenya,
And
I could seriously talk to you all day. Everything I wanted to hit on, we hit on. I love your show. I'm so glad we connected. I follow you on Instagram. Please follow me back so we can stay in
I
touch.
will. If I don't, I will.
Okay. Okay.
But we do have to
Perfect.
stay in touch. Life is going to be, you're going to be fine. And it's an adjustment. Everybody's going to get used to their new normal. Your husband, the children, you, but it's going to be fine.
I
Really,
just got
I'm telling you.
goosebumps. Thank you.
Yeah,
Goosebumps. And
you're
anybody that
wel-
wants to follow just you, I love your page too. Where can they find you on social?
Truly Kenya.
Oh,
Facebook,
truly Kenya
Truly
everywhere.
Kenya. It's everywhere.